So in this video I will show you how to get occlusion settings running for Steam Audio in Unreal Engine 4.19.2. To set the context for the problem, as I approach building, we have the sounds bleeding throughout the walls without any sort of attenuation, without accounting for the geometry or for the materials of what the buildings are made. So even though they're appropriately spatialized, we need to incorporate some of the occlusion to make the environment feel more realistic. So the first step of doing that is we select our sound source and locate the attenuation settings. These are the ones that I've created in the previous video which I showed how to do it as well. Essentially, if we double click on this, all of the settings that you see over here, they're the same ones that you can edit also in this details panel over here. I'm just using the separate attenuation settings so that as I'm editing this sound file, these two cues are being edited as well. So if we double click on them, we need to scroll down to over here. This is the first field that we need. We need to check attenuation occlusion. We need to enable that. And over here we got attenuation plugin settings, and these are the plugin settings for the Steam Audio. So I've got a pre-made one just over here, and if we open that up, then we have 5 of these different parameters. So for the most realistic result, we want the frequency dependent transmission. So that means that as the sound is going to be intercepted by a wall, the plugin is going to take into account the geometry and the material of what the wall is made. So the sound is going to be partially occluded, and the frequency dependent bit comes from the fact that there's going to be some high frequency loss as well. Depending on the material, there's going to be more or less high frequency loss. For the occlusion method, the partial one shoots out multiple rays as opposed to only one, and if the character collides with any of those extra rays, then the sound is partially occluded, giving you a more realistic result. Physics-based and air absorption are just get a bit more realistic result. A physics-based attenuation is going to attenuate the sound in a logarithmic curve, which replicates the way how humans hear. And air absorption is going to give you a little bit more high frequency loss over distance. The direct occlusion source radius is essentially telling the engine in what kind of a source should the sound be treated to shoot out all the rays, which will then be occluded with the player. So if we click save on that, then the next step we need to do is actually specify that these walls over here, we need to specify that they're actually materials and they're actually walls themselves. So if you're using an older version than 4.19.2, you would need to go over here to add component and put in Phonon geometry. So this then specifies to Steam Audio that this wall needs to be accounted for when spatializing. A very quick way of adding the Phonon geometry to all your materials is taking all your assets, all the components that your building consists of. Well, basically all except one, and then doing a right click, and then doing attach to one, and then on the Phonon geometry we can click export all children. So that means that all of these houses are going to have the Phonon geometry component put into them. So in 4.19 we have this button over here, Shift 6, Steam Audio, and through this one we can add all the Phonon geometry components in bulk. this means that also, as I did that, this this building over here has the Phonon geometry components added as well. And afterwards, to enhance it even further, we want to add a material as well. So what we would do is click Add Component, search for Phonon Material, Phonon Material, and then specify what the material, what the building is made out from. So for this demonstration, I'll just use wood. And I'll put in one more sound as well, just for the just for a more accurate demonstration, as the chanting is going to be a bit more fluent. And again, seeing as I've got the attenuation settings, I don't need to do anything else over here in the details panel. I can just go to this field over here, left click, and put in my settings in. So let's see how it sounds now. So now we can hear the frequency dependent transmission. There's a bit of a high frequency filtering on the kick and snare, if you can hear that, and also on the voice. And if I just clear that out, I'll take away the occlusion. And this is without the occlusion settings. So that's quite a noticeable difference, and definitely a bit more realistic, and it also definitely eases up your life as well. As opposed to the old method, for example, if you're using sound volumes, kind of specifying the environment and specifying the size and the properties that the environment should have. Now using Steam Audio, we can literally get the same result with just a few clicks of a button. So let's take another listen. And this is back with. And in the next video, I'll show you guys how to get the reverb running as well for the full effect, so that the plugin can start generating an impulse response for the room, and we can get some realistic reverb of these environments as well. Thank you for watching, and feel free to put in any questions in the comment section. I'll do my best to answer them. Thank you.